The hearing is started. We're going to quickly listen into what exactly is taking place right now.
The Association of Regulators.
But I am appearing for the original writ petitioner on
Your Lordship, I am.
order the CBI was done.
My Lord, I'm appearing on behalf of the petitioner.
Number of interveners.
Yes,
Please,
Lord.
Lord,
Have
appearing on behalf of the petitioners.
calling out who they are appearing for. We'd only request the interveners to give a slip of paper to the court master indicating who you are appearing for. We'll take that.
We'll give it, my lord.
Otherwise, we'll spend the next 10 minutes and only,
I am appearing for the Indian Medical Association. We'll give our slip, my lord.
And my Lord, I am for the writ petitioner at whose behest the investigation was transferred to CBI.
Right. The reason why, I must make it clear, the reason why we decided to take suo motu cognizance, we are conscious of the fact that the High Court was entertaining a petition which was filed by the petitioners who are here before us, is because this is really now not just a matter relating to a particular murder which takes place in a hospital in Kolkata, which is horrific in the nature of the crime, but it raises systemic issues in regard to the safety of doctors.
Lord, two more incidents, one in Bombay and one in Ahmedabad after Calcutta.
Let the Chief Justice please.
This deals with the systemic issue of safety of doctors across India.
Yes.
There are a couple of things, Ms. Sybil, before we deal with the broader aspects of safety and what we propose to do, we'll tell you in a
I have something to assist on that, neutrally.
First, on matters of safety, we are deeply concerned about the fact that there is a virtual absence of safe conditions of work for young doctors across the country, particularly in public hospitals. As we know, these are all young interns, they are residents, senior residents, doctors, and most importantly, women doctors.
Yes.
Who are subject to graver dangers and vulnerability.
Vulnerable.
By virtue of the nature of their
Absolutely.
because of gender.
Working hours.
Just and working hours. Most of the young doctors have to put in somewhere
36 hours.
We find that there are no duty rooms available, no separate restrooms or duty rooms available for men and women doctors, for the other nursing staff, for the paramedical staff who are also on duty. And therefore, we must evolve a national consensus to ensure that there must be a standard national protocol to ensure that safe conditions of work are provided. This is not a matter of providing protection either to women or protection to doctors in general. It's a matter of creating safe conditions of work. So that they, ultimately, what is equality under the Constitution all about? If women cannot go to a place of work and be safe, then we are denying them the basic conditions of equality. And therefore, we are entertaining this, and I'll very shortly share the way we want to proceed with this to ensure that ultimately, it's not that every time that there is a rape or murder that the conscience of the nation is awakened. We have to do something right here and now to ensure that these conditions of safety are maintained in terms of protocols which will not just be on paper, but protocols which will be enforced across India. Now, insofar as what happened in Kolkata is concerned, a couple of things from what we have. Of course, first, let me begin by saying that we are deeply concerned of the fact that the name of the deceased who was assaulted and murdered, the name has been published all over the media. Photographs have been published all over the media. Video clips, obviously, either before or after the postmortem, have been published.
Right.
Showing her body, after she was subjected to it. Extremely concerning. We are the first to recognize the right to free speech, but there are well-settled parameters.
It is extremely painful. I agree entirely with you.
Which have been laid down in now the new criminal procedure code by judgments of our court in Nipun Saxena, that you will not publish the names of the survivors of sexual assault. In this case, the person.
It's a criminal. We have filed 50 FIRs on that count. 50 FIRs.
And it was circulated, nobody should publish.
May I just inform your lordships, before the police reached, photos were taken and these were circulated. We didn't allow anything to happen. We cordoned off the area.
Is this the way we provide dignity and
That's
respect
terrible.
the privacy
Terrible.
of an individual who has lost her life as a
Yeah.
young doctor?
Yes.
But apart from that, Ms. Isabel, I'm happy that you are here for the state of West Bengal. Couple of quite a few aspects of the
Sure.
way the matter proceeded. It appears that the crime was detected in the early hours of the morning.
Yes.
Yes, no, in the evening.
After the crime was detected in the early hours of the morning, the principal of the hospital tries to pass this off as a suicide.
Not true. Not true. Not
Her
true.
parents are not allowed to see the body. The parents are not allowed to see the body for almost.
No, Malaj, this is, I'm sorry. Anyway, Malaj, this is
Not
the
that
impression.
our
We'll have to-
investigation
we'll have
also
to,
corrupt.
we'll have to place the facts before your lordships. We have investigated that.
By the High Court.
This is not correct.
So
Let us read the order.
until late night, we find that no FIR was registered.
That's also not correct. Not correct.
What time was the FIR registered?
Malaj, in fact, we did what is called, what we call a UD case, Malaj.
UD case.
Unnatural death case registered.
Yes, unnatural death case.
Registered.
But
Immediately.
that's right.
That's an FIR, Malaj. That's an FIR.
Not the body discovered.
The UD case.
The FIR registered formally in the police.
Malaj, inquest was done and then FIR registered immediately and the investigation started.
What time
Should have been done.
the FIR registered?
12, Malaj. 12:30.
Does the FIR say that this is a case of a murder?
No.
Yes, yes.
No, it.
No, my lord, we have
Unnatural
something else
death.
to say.
It was.
We have something else
Unnatural
to
death.
say.
One second.
Inquest shows it's a case of murder, Malaj.
One second.
Inquest shows it's a case of murder.
Inquest is done. The postmortem is, the autopsy is conducted.
Yes.
Now, until the night, no FIR indicating that this is a clear case of a murder has been made out.
It has, Malaj. I'm sorry. I'll place those facts before your lordship. It has been, Malaj.
Lord, may I suggest?
From
my lord, may I
unnatural death,
suggest-
he registered the case
Lord,
for murder.
That,
We caught the victim. He is a civic worker, Malaj. It's an individual act. I show all that, your lordship.
and that's the first aspect.
Yes.
What was the principal doing? Why did he not, why was this kind of inaction on the part first an attempt to pass this off as a suicide instead of a murder?
I'm sorry, Malaj. That's not correct.
Not registering an FIR till late in the evening. Third, the body itself is handed over to the parents sometime in the evening for cremation. Fourth, and that's a matter of very serious concern. On the next day, the doctors, because they were all doctors working with her, the doctors are on protest. A group of persons, a mob assembles at the hospital. The hospital is invaded and the critical facilities are damaged in the morning or whenever the mob enters. What was the police doing?
Yes. Malaj, we have videos for all. Malaj, let me first of all state.
Actually, Mr. Sibal,
What-
the police,
Lord,
Malaj,
a very serious offense has taken place. The crime scene is within the precincts of the hospital. Now, that is the first thing that the police have to do, namely to protect the crime scene. What are they doing?
Malaj,
Nothing.
They allow vandals to enter the hospital and,
It's impossible that
Malaj,
7,000 people
first
can
of all,
gather without
of all-
the consent.
please, one second.
allow me.
Lord,
This is-
7,000 people
One
can
second.
never gather without knowledge or consent of the police.
This is not an adversarial litigation.
It's not, therefore, let us not be in denial mode. One girl has lost life
One second.
by not only, my lord, a sexual pervert, he is an animal.
Sir,
After the principal resigns from this medical college,
He sent to another
he's,
hospital.
he's appointed as a principal of another college.
He doesn't resign. But anyway, be that as, Malaj, let me first,
His conduct, at the least, his conduct is under scrutiny, and he's appointed as a principal somewhere else.
Lord,
this is all, we have a note
Lord,
on
you
all
have-
this
Lord,
misinformation.
it's not contradict each other. There is a High Court order.
The reality, just show it to you.
Let them file the report, not.
Well, just show it
the
to
matter
you.
tomorrow.
My lord.
Couple of things which we would like
Would be
to do.
there.
Well, let's make it very clear.
Yeah.
We would want the investigation has been handed over to the
CBI.
Bureau of Investigation.
Yes, done, yes,
We want CBI to file a status report before this court on Thursday.
correct.
We will take up the case on Thursday. We want CBI to apprise us on the status of the investigation.
Correct.
The investigation obviously must be at a very sensitive stage so that it's something which will be submitted to the court.
For court's
For the principal
consumption, not, my
secondary
lord,
to the case
making it
diary.
public.
It's really an investigation update
Yes,
status
yes.
report which will be given to us on Thursday. We will consider the status report on Thursday morning and see where the investigation is proceeding. Today, what we intend to do is that today we intend to pass an order. What we have done is, and three of us, that's why we were in conversation with each other. We have discussed the pros and cons. We are setting up, under the authority of this court, a national task force. The national task force will consist of a diverse segment of doctors from different parts of the country. We want them to make us recommendations in regard to the modalities to be followed across India. We're not only talking of the Ajikar Medical College and Hospital, but modalities to be followed all over the country for ensuring safety at the workplace first and foremost, for which our young doctors, the middle-level doctors, the senior doctors are all today on protest and on strike. At the same time, we would, now that we are taking charge of these proceedings, we are appointing a national task force. It's our earnest request to doctors all over the country who have struck work. There are institutions where I know appointments are taken 2 years in advance. For instance, the All India Institute of Medical Sciences. Appointments are taken 2 years in advance. If patients lose their slot, they go back by another 2 years. So we would really earnestly appeal to all the doctors that we are here to ensure that their safety and protection is a matter of the highest national concern. And therefore, this is something which we would earnestly appeal to all the young doctors that this is something, please trust us. That's why we have not left it to just the High Court. The High Court, of course, consists of very seasoned judges. The Chief Justice was monitoring the investigation by the CBI, but we felt that this is now not a matter of a particular offense, however serious and horrendous the offense is, but something which affects the institution of healthcare pan-India. Therefore, the need for the Supreme Court.
Manoj, we welcome this. I think this must be done, Manoj. All of us must be very positive. But Manoj, I have only one request. Manoj, I have only one request. Yeah, sorry.
Manoj, I need, Manoj, 5 minutes on this, Manoj.
That's what I said. Yes.
Who is the first informant? We were talking about the first information.
Yes.
Who is that first informant? Can you name us, please?
Name him.
Who is the first informant
we
who
just-
lodged the FIR?
The one I just find out, Manoj.
And we would also like to know the time of the registration of the
The
FIR.
father of the victim.
Wait a minute, please don't interfere. Don't interfere.
The
please.
first UD case was done by the police on its own.
So that is not an FIR. What is section 174 of the old CRPC today? Can anyone assist us, please?
Yes. What's
So that's just a report.
Yes, to start the investigation.
But then who lodged the FIR?
183.
First, the father of the deceased,
Yes.
then the vice principal of the hospital. First, the father of the deceased, and vice principal of the hospital.
No, there cannot be two FIRs.
No, but both complaints were sent to us.
No.
Both complaints sent to us.
Tell us whose complaint is treated as,
Father of the deceased.
this is registered at what time?
11:45 p.m.
11:45?
PM.
And now,
Next day, next day.
Yes, yes.
The night. The night, Manoj. In the night. In the night, Manoj. In the
now,
night.
when is the body, when is the body handed over to the parents for cremation?
Manoj, kindly have this
Just
note
tell
that
us,
I've given.
what time is the body handed over to the parents for cremation? 1 second.
Around 3:30.
30:10.
Therefore, one thing is very clear. The body is handed over to the parents for cremation at 8:30 p.m. The FIR is registered at 11:45 p.m. 3 hours and 15 minutes after the body is handed over to the parents for cremation.
Manoj, they refused to file. Manoj, this is the problem. We handed it over. They filed the FIR. They made the complaint at 11:45. They say, we are in shock. Please do whatever you want to do. They wanted a post-mortem. We did the post-mortem. All is videographed. Everything is videographed.
The autopsy and the post-mortem take place.
Between 1:45 to 4 p.m.
Now, between 1:45 and 4 p.m., the autopsy takes place, followed by the
Why not
post-mortem.
the autopsy took place at 6 o'clock, not at,
Fair enough. That's all right. We take it as one between 1 and 4 o'clock. It doesn't take place in 1 minute. It takes
That was when.
Videograph,
1 second. Don't keep on interrupting.
they wanted
So
a board, we
are
constituted a
proceeding-
board.
We are proceeding on the basis of Mr. Sibal's hypothesis that the autopsy and the postmortem take place between 1 and 4:45 in the afternoon. Now,
Lordship, there is-
notwithstanding this, clearly,
Lordship, there-
the autopsy would reveal that this is a case where a doctor has been murdered, where she has been murdered.
Yeah.
The FIR is registered at 11:45 in the night, Mr. Sibal.
Yeah,
And who was expected to
yeah.
Nobody in the hospital registers the FIR.
No.
The father registers the, what was the principal or the vice principal? What were the authorities of the hospital doing?
No, they wanted a board, we constituted a board, they wanted a magistrate, we got the magistrate.
don't need
They
that
realized
time
that
for
murder has
registration
been
of
committed
FIR.
in the custody of
You don't need a medical
They
board
are-
for
they are
registration of
taking
FIR.
policy.
At the moment, Melons, what are we considering? We are considering, Melons, 2 or 3 things, as your lordship has put to me.
Not done.
How did these photographs reach the social media?
No,
But I'll mention all this, how did these photographs reach the media? We have nothing to do with it.
No, let
because
us
we
not
ordered out
trivialize, my lord.
everything. People there took photographs, came in, took photographs and sent it. Number 2, Melons, number 2, immediately, Melons, immediately an unnatural death case, Melons, was started and an investigation was started. Your lordship may be right, Melons, why did it happen? But whatever the parents were doing, we were agreeing with that. We set up a board. We asked the magistrate to come, a judicial magistrate to be present. Everything was videographed. Everything was called.
Mr. Sibal, it is the
Application
obligation
was
of
made
the
before the Seattle
authorities of the hospital. The parents are not present in the hospital when the murder takes place.
Yes.
It's the obligation of the authorities of the hospital to register an FIR the moment they
2:45
realize.
it was done. 2:45 done. The letter was sent.
11:45 in the night.
No, 2:45 letter was sent. Assistant superintendent sent a letter at 2:45, Melons. It's not 11:30, at 2:45 itself, we'll set out all this, Melons. It's better we set it.
What we, Mr.
Lordships may give me 5 minutes, my lord,
Yes.
to further, my lord, to assist your lordships. My lord, first of all, Lord, let us not trivialize on this side, my lord, we are dealing with one incident, but your lordships are rightly looking at a larger picture. But we are dealing with, my lord, a young doctor, not only raped by a sexual pervert or perverts, but who was an animal-like instinct, who had an animal-like instinct, the way, my lord, the body was handled. Thereafter, my lord, I don't wish, my lord, to make this a political issue. I would request the state also not to be in a denial mode. 3 hours of the patient, parents waiting, my lord, is something we can experience if we put ourselves in that position. Now, my lord, so far as the safety is concerned, my lord, one thing I must bring to your lordship's notice. My lord, the doctors are genuinely, my lord, have a grievance. They are, my lord, they've lost one of their colleagues, my lord, globally. But, my lord, out of, my lord, all states, 23 states have legislations dealing with, my lord, what is called for, my lord, Kerala, my lord, so-and-so Medicare service persons and medical service institutions, prevention of violence and damage or loss to the property act. There are, my lord, I'll give, my lord, the list of acts. My lord, this also the National Task Force, my lord, can,
The punishment which is provided under.
it's
the
a cognizable, my lord,
is
and,
3 years.
3 years.
yes, my lord, it's cognizable, non-bailable, and punishment is 3 years. My lord, this is first. I'll, my lord, place it. The National Task Force, my lord, which our lordships contemplate, can, my lord, go into this, can even make suggestions, and it should be welcome, my lord. My lord, second thing, my lord, which is worrying us is this. My lord, even in a well-organized function, if we want the presence of 500 people in an auditorium, we all know we have to make efforts. 7,000 people at the middle of the night armed with lathis and hockeys, my lord, can never be without the knowledge, if not consent, of the police force. It's complete failure of law and order, my lord, in the entire state.
What time did the vandalization of the hospital take place?
My lord,
Midnight.
midnight, it's at midnight, my lord.
I thought my
7,000
learned
people-
friend, he doesn't want to politicize the matter, Melons. Why is he saying all this?
Now,
Let's-
why this is, my lord, important.
We should be called upon. We'll tell you what happened.
Mr. Solicitor, what we'll do is that we'll.
One more aspect, one more aspect. Lord, and my lord, again, my learned friend may feel that this is, my lord, but this is directly related to the issue in question. Lord, the West Bengal has an in-charge DIG.
In
my lord,
charge?
in charge DIG, Director General of Police, who is already being charged and being my lord, considered by your lordships for having fabricated or otherwise dealt with the evidence in Sharda scam case. My lord, your lordship's
Calcutta
direction
Police
in
doesn't come under DGP.
Mr.
Calcutta Police doesn't come under DGP. Why are you saying all this?
What this has to do
Lord,
This is
Director
Kolkata
General
Police.
of Police
This has nothing
is
to
an
do with
in-charge
What is
DGP.
all this?
Lord, let someone else be the
This is
in-charge.
what is happening.
Let them choose, but not the man who is already accused
This is the kind of
having.
misinformation we are having, Manoj.
And
This is nothing to do, this is a
Nothing to do.
only a minute.
Manoj, I have only one small request.
What do you propose to do about the principal?
Whatever your lordship says, we'll do, Manoj.
Constitution.
Manoj, whatever your lordship says, we will do. There's no issue. SIT is constituted. SIT is constituted, but whatever your lordships will say, we will do. We are not, Manoj, this is not adversarial, as I said. Manoj, just give me just 1 minute. I just handed over something to your lordship. Just have a look at it, Manoj. Just give it to my lord. 3 copies that I hand.
All right, Mr. Sibal, we'll just hear the solicitor for a minute. He just wants a minute.
All
And then
Lord, I just, my lord, I want this, my lord.
Your Lordship,
Lord,
may I
an
just submit?
in-charge DG who is already a tainted officer in an affidavit filed before this court should be replaced by any other in-charge DG of their choice.
Manoj, just have this.
Another,
We have
my lord.
we have set out what is in the media and we have set out the reality.
No, share it with
For
all of us.
We will share it, don't worry.
No.
Kolkata Police informed the family members that the present case was
They
a
are
case
in
of
a denial
suicide.
mode.
False.
No, another
False.
aspect.
At no time did the police give this information.
presently, what we propose to do is this. We'll indicate what the broad parameters of our intervention in this matter consists of. We'll just pronounce it very shortly. For one thing, Mr. Sibal, we are very, very concerned. Let not the power of the state of West Bengal be unleashed on peaceful protesters.
I give to your,
Lord,
we have
why-
videos of
Without
all that
protest, it is
happened.
unleashed.
People, whether they are doctors, civil society, lawyers, people who are protesting, so long as there's no act of destruction of.
We have videos. We agree.
Let there not be the power of the state unleashed on
Agree.
peaceful protest.
Manoj, I agree, and that has not happened. 1 second. We have videos which we have placed, which we will place before your lordship. And Manoj, what happens is political parties get into the act and this is what happens.
People who are taking to the media to communicate their views.
Yes.
Let us deal with them with a great deal of.
I agree, I agree.
It's a time of national catharsis.
Look at the girl, don't be in denial.
Manoj,
mode.
now, for example, they say pelvic and collarbone was broken. False. Postmortem doesn't say that.
Lordship,
going to fight
state
up.
and the center, they'll keep arguing.
CBI,
Fair.
CBI is investigating it.
Yes.
We will ask for a report from the CBI. Now, what we propose to do is,
Just-
1 second,
Just one second.
this must stop. We are in charge of the proceeding. We have heard Mr. Solicitor, we have heard Mr. Sibal. If we start hearing all the interveners, there'll be no end to it.
Lordship,
Please have some patience. We are going to now tell you what we are proposing to do. We are not disposing of the case, but let's allow us to at least pronounce what we intend to do. All right.
No, this is the list of
okay.
acts.
Would your lordship just give us a minute?
On 9 August 2024, a 31-year-old postgraduate doctor at RG Kar Medical College Hospital, Kolkata, who was in a 36-hour duty shift, was raped and murdered inside the seminar room of the hospital. As horrific details have emerged in the course of media reportage, the brutality of the sexual assault and the nature of the crime have shocked the conscience of the nation. The name and graphic images of the deceased have been widely circulated on social media without regard to her privacy or dignity. Writ petitions were instituted before the Calcutta High Court seeking, among other things, a court-monitored investigation of the crime and the conduct of the hospital authorities, including the role of the principal of the medical college and other officials by a special team of investigating officers. It has been alleged that the parents of the deceased were initially informed that their daughter had committed suicide. They were permitted to see the dead body after several hours, and a first information report in regard to the murder was registered belatedly by the police after several hours. By its order dated 13 August 2024, the High Court transferred the investigation to the Central Bureau of Investigation. Following the incident, agitations and protests were called by doctors' associations, student bodies, and civic groups across the country. On the eve of Independence Day, several areas in Kolkata saw protests spurred by the Reclaim the Night campaign. At 12:30 a.m. on 15 August, when a protest was underway at the hospital, a large mob assembled at the premises of the R.G. Kar Medical College Hospital and vandalized the emergency ward and other departments of the hospital. Following the acts of wanton disruption and vandalism, the Indian Medical Association, a private and voluntary organization of doctors in India, called for a nationwide withdrawal of medical services except emergency services for 24 hours on 17 August 2024. In the aftermath of the brutal incident and the demonstrations which followed, the state government was expected to ensure the deployment of the state machinery to prevent a breach of law and order. It was all the more necessary to do so since investigation of the crime which took place in the precincts of the hospital was underway. We are unable to comprehend how the state was not prepared to deal with the incident of vandalization of the premises of the hospital. Nationwide protests following the brutal incident in R.G. Kar Medical College Hospital have brought the issue of the lack of institutional safety for doctors to the forefront. Medical associations have consistently raised issues of the lack of workplace safety in healthcare institutions. Medical professionals, in the performance of their duties, have been unfortunate targets of various forms of violence. Hospitals and medical care facilities are open throughout the day and night. Medical professionals, doctors, nurses, and paramedic staff work round the clock. Unrestricted access to every part of healthcare institutions has made healthcare professionals susceptible to violence. Patients of relatives in anguish are quick to attribute untoward results to the negligence of medical professionals. Such allegations are immediately followed by violence against medical professionals. In May 2024, two on-duty doctors were allegedly attacked by relatives of a patient who died during treatment in a hospital in West Bengal. In another incident in May 2024 in Bihar, following the death of a 25-year-old pregnant patient, a nurse was allegedly pushed off the first floor of the building by the kin of the patient. In August 2024, a final year resident in a hospital in Hyderabad was allegedly assaulted by a patient's attendants after the patient died due to medical conditions. These incidents of violence are a few among the many that have been unleashed against members of the medical community in the recent past. They are portents of a systemic failure to protect doctors, nurses, and paramedical staff in the confines of hospitals. With few or no protective systems to ensure their safety, medical professionals have become vulnerable to violence. With the involvement of systemic issues for healthcare across the nation, this court has had to intervene. Women are at particular risk of sexual and non-sexual violence in these settings. Due to ingrained patriarchal attitudes and biases, relatives of patients are more likely to challenge women medical professionals. In addition to this, female medical professionals also face different forms of sexual violence at the workplace by colleagues, seniors, and persons in authority. Sexual violence has had its origins even within the institution, the case of Aruna Shanbag being a case in point. There is a hierarchy within medical colleges, and the career advancement and academic degrees of young professionals are capable of being affected by those in the upper echelons. The lack of institutional safety norms at medical establishments against both violence and sexual violence against medical professionals is a matter of serious concern. While gendered violence is the source of more malevolent manifestations of the structural deficiencies in public health institutions, the lack of safety is of concern to all medical professionals. Preserving safe conditions of work is central to realizing equality of opportunity to every working professional. This is not
All right, so of course, viewers, the Supreme Court hearing is underway at this point of time. There are lots and lots of details that have been shared. The fact that the family had to wait for hours before they could see the body. There was, of course, the first FIR that was filed by the father of the victim. This happened at 11:45 p.m. We're also learning at this point of time that the victim's body was cremated at 8:30 p.m. So again, very shocking details coming in at this point of time as far as this Kolkata rape and murder case is concerned. In fact, joining us at this point of time is Advocate Rukmani Singh, Supreme Court lawyer. Ma'am, thank you so much for taking our time and speaking to us on NewsX. The Chief Justice of India has asked this time and again during this hearing, what was the principal doing? This is the question that has been asked multiple times through the course of this hearing, and there are again these shocking details coming in. The fact that the family had to wait for hours and hours before they could see their own daughter. How do you view all of these developments, and how do you view all of this at this point of time?
Good morning. Thank you for having me. So, since the beginning of this case, the role of the police has been in suspicion, actually. So, the body was handed over to the parents very late. There was a delay in FIR. There is the principal was transferred. There has been vandalism. The CCTV evidence has been destroyed. There has been vandalism at the crime scene. There was suddenly there was renovation work that was started right after the crime. So this the evidences have been completely destroyed by the police as well, and the principal is being investigated by the CBI, and I think the Supreme Court has also made the police a co-conspirator in this entire case as well. They should be made the co-conspirator in the entire case, because they are someone who protect people. Rather, they have been destroying the evidence. They have been in suspicion since the beginning of this case. So I think that the entire system has been a failure in this whole case. For protecting the girl. And it's a societal failure. It's very sad to hear the whole about this case.
Right, absolutely. Again, the Chief Justice of India has also, in fact, spoken, questioned again and again how is it that there were 7,000 protesters who were able to vandalize parts of the hospital amidst an investigation. Again, as you just told our viewers, there was reconstruction work that suddenly started inside the vicinity. Again, there was this mob that vandalized part of the hospital. How is that all possible? So again, he's spoken about how the state was unable to stop the vandalism. What is your take on that front?
In that mob, there were a few accused who were there to specially tamper the evidence.
Yeah.
How did the police allow them to get inside the hospital is a question. Where was the security at that point of time? Where was police? How did they enter the evidence, the area where the CCTV was, or where the evidence was lying? So there has been a complete failure. Secondly, there has been a systematic failure in this entire case, and not just that, it is a barbaric crime that has happened with the girl who was there from 3 a.m. to 5 p.m. The crime happened between 3 a.m. to 5 p.m. Why was there no security at that time? It's a hospital. There are people supposed to be there in the night as well. Where was security present at that time? I'm sure the girl must have shouted, screamed. Where were the security personnel of the hospital at that time? So this is also a question that arises.
Right, absolutely. Ma'am, with that, I'd like to thank you for joining us on the broadcast, sharing your perspectives with our viewers. We're going to continue to track developments that are taking place as far as the hearing is concerned.
To Dr. D. Nageshwar Reddy, Chairman and Managing Director, Asian Institute of Gastroenterology and AIG Hospitals, Hyderabad. 3. Dr. M. Srinivas, Director, All India Institute of Medical Sciences, AIIMS, Delhi. 4. Dr. Pratima Murthy, Director, National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences, NIMHANS, Bangalore. E. Dr. Govardhan Dutt Puri, Executive Director, All India Institute of Medical Sciences, Jodhpur. 5. Dr. 6. Dr. Soumitra Rawat, Chairperson, Institute of Surgical Gastroenterology, GI and HPB Oncosurgery and Liver Transplantation, and Member Board of Management, Sir Gangaram Hospital, New Delhi, and Member Court of Examiners of the Royal College of Surgeons, England. 8. Professor Anita Saxena, Vice Chancellor, Pandit B.D. Sharma Medical University, Rohtak, formerly Dean of Academics, Chief, Cardiothoracic Center and Head Cardiology Department at the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, Delhi. 9. Dr. Pallavi Saple, Dean, Grant Medical College and Sir J.J. Group of Hospitals, Mumbai. And 10. Dr. Padma Srivastav, former professor at the Department of Neurology, AIIMS, Delhi, currently serving as the Chairperson of Neurology at Paras Health, Gurugram. The following shall be the ex officio members of the NTF. A. The Cabinet Secretary to the Government of India. B. The Home Secretary to the Government of India. C. The Secretary, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India. D. Chairperson of the National Medical Commission. And E. President of the National Board of Examinations. The NTF shall formulate effective recommendations to remedy the issues of concern pertaining to safety, working conditions, and well-being of medical professionals and other cognate matters highlighted in the above segments of this order. The NTF shall, while doing so, consider the following aspects to prepare an action plan. The action plan may be categorized under two heads. 1. Preventing violence, including gender-based violence against medical professionals. And 2. Providing an enforceable national protocol for dignified and safe working conditions for interns, residents, senior residents, doctors, nurses, and all medical professionals. 1. Prevention of violence against medical professionals and providing safe working conditions. A. Ensuring due security in medical establishments. 1. Triaging departments and places within the hospital based on the degree of volatility and the possibility of violence. Areas such as emergency rooms and intensive care units are prone to a greater degree of violence and may possibly need additional security in place to deal with any untoward incident. 2. A baggage and person screening system at every entrance of the hospital to ensure that arms are not carried inside the medical establishment. 3. Preventing intoxicated persons from entering the premises of the medical establishment unless they are patients. And 4. Training security personnel employed at hospitals to manage crowds and grieving persons. B. Infrastructural development. 1. Provision of separate resting rooms and duty rooms in each department for A. Male doctors, B. Female doctors, C. Male nurses, D. Female nurses, and E. A gender-neutral common resting space. The room must be well ventilated, have sufficient bed spaces, and provide a facility for drinking water. Access to these rooms must be restricted through installation of security devices. 2. Adopting appropriate technological intervention to regulate access to critical and sensitive areas, including through the use of biometric and facial recognition. 3. Ensuring adequate lighting at all places in the hospital, and if it is a hospital attached to a medical college, all places within the campus. 4. Installation of CCTV cameras at all entrance and exit points of the hospitals and the corridors leading up to all patient rooms. And 5. If the hostels or rooms of the medical professionals are away from the hospital, provision of transport between 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. for those who wish to travel to or from their place of stay to the hospital. C. Employment of social workers trained in grief and crisis counseling at all medical establishments. D. Conducting workshops for all employees of medical establishments, including doctors, nurses, and helpers, on handling grief and crisis. E. Constitution of employee safety committees composed of doctors, interns, residents, and nurses at every medical establishment to conduct quarterly audits on institutional safety measures. F. Including additional requirements on institutional safety measures for medical professionals as a criteria for accreditation of healthcare establishments by the National Accreditation Board for Hospitals and Healthcare Providers. And G. The possibility of establishing police posts in medical facilities commensurate with the footfall, bed strength, and facilities. 2. Prevention of sexual violence against medical professionals. A. The Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Prevention, Prohibition and Redressal Act 2013 applies to hospitals and nursing homes, including private healthcare providers. In terms of the provisions of the Act, an internal complaints committee must be constituted in all hospitals and nursing homes. B. The duties of an employer listed under Section 19 of the Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Act 2013, which includes organizing sensitization programs and providing a safe working space, must be discharged. And C, ensuring for every medical institution a helpline number for medical professionals, which is open 24/7, and emergency distress facilities. It is clarified that the phrase medical professionals used in this judgment encompasses every medical professional, including doctors, medical students who are undergoing their compulsory rotating medical internship as a part of the MBBS course, resident doctors and senior resident doctors and nurses, including those who are nursing interns. The phrases medical establishments, hospital, medical institutions are interchangeably used. The NTF shall be at liberty to make recommendation on all aspects of the action plan highlighted above and any other aspects which the members seek to cover. They are at liberty to make additional suggestions where appropriate. The NTF shall also suggest appropriate timelines by which the recommendations could be implemented based on the existing facilities in hospitals. The NTF is required to consult all stakeholders. Bearing in mind the gravity and urgency of the situation, we have included the heads of the National Medical Commission and the National Board of Examinations as ex officio members of the NTF. Bearing in mind the national concerns which have been raised over the issue and the high priority which must be given to the creation of safe working conditions in healthcare institutions, we request the Cabinet Secretary to the Union Government to associate with the work of the NTF. The Home Secretary of the Union Government has also been made a member of the NTF in order to facilitate proper coordination with the state governments. The Secretary to the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare of the Government of India will be the Member Secretary of the NTF. The Ministry of Health and Family Welfare will provide all logistical support, including making arrangements for travel, stay, and secretarial assistance, and bear the expenses of the members of the NTF. The NTF is requested to submit an interim report within 3 weeks and the final report within 2 months from the date of this order. All state governments and union territory governments, through their secretaries in the Ministries of Health and Family Welfare, and the central government, through the Secretary Union Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, must collate information from all hospitals run by the state and by the central government, respectively, on the following aspects. A, how many security personnel are employed at each hospital and each department? B, whether there is a baggage and person screening mechanism in place at the entrance of the medical establishment. C, the total number of resting/duty rooms in the hospital and specific details of the number in each department. D, the facilities provided in the resting/duty rooms. E, information on whether all areas of the hospital are accessible to the general public, and if so, with or without any security restrictions. F, whether there are CCTV cameras in the hospital. If there are, how many and in which locations? G, whether the institution provides medical professionals training to appropriately handle the grief of patients. If so, the details of the training must be provided. H, whether social workers who specialize in handling grief of families of the patients are employed at the hospital. If so, then total number of social workers must be provided. I, whether there are police outposts within the premises of the hospital or the medical college hospital campus. J, whether an internal complaints committee in terms of the Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Act 2013 has been constituted. And K, whether the employer of the establishment has discharged the duties prescribed by Section 19 of the Act of 2013. If so, the details of it. The data submitted shall be tabulated and filed with an affidavit by the Union Government within 1 month from this order. The Central Bureau of Investigation shall submit a status report to this court by, we'll say 22nd and not 23rd, by 22nd August 2024 on the progress in the investigation of the crime at RG Kar Medical College Hospital. The state of West Bengal shall also file a status report by 22 August 2024 on the progress of the investigation on the acts of vandalism which took place at the hospital in the aftermath of the incident. The matter will now be listed on 22 August 2024.
Only one request. What is shared by the state of West Bengal with your lordships be given to CBI. We also need, like, have it. They cannot have any objection.
One second, I can just say, when that is.
Again, the Supreme Court hearing taking place. We've of course heard the order that has been given by the CGI. They have constituted a national task force. In fact, joining us at this point in time is Dr. Kumari Archana, senior resident of the RML Hospital. Ma'am, thank you so much for taking out time and speaking to us on NewsX. Now, how do you view the hearing and all the details that have been given out? The fact that the body of the victim, the parents saw the body of the victim much later. It took as many as 3 hours for them to be able to see their daughter. And again, the fact that there is a national task force that has now been constituted. How do you view all of these developments?
Thank you. Thanks to our judicial system, thanks to Supreme Court, that they have been very positive from the beginning, and they have understood our agony and what we are going through, and they have addressed about the security of the health professionals in our country. So what should have been done by the state government and the central government is now being done by the judiciary. That's, it's a shame on the state government of Bengal, and central government has also not cooperated with us. But yes, we are very excited what Supreme Court is giving us. They have formed a committee, and yes, going to that very barbaric incident, the parents of the victim, they were made to wait for 3 hours, and they told that the body was the legs were at 90 degrees. So now we are getting some reports in the media that the autopsy reports have been completely changed, and now they are telling that there was no fracture. So now tell me that if there is a death by strangulation, then without hyoid bone fracture, no strangulation can lead to death. And if the legs were at 90 degrees, then there should be pelvic fracture. So what reports we are getting now, yesterday what reports were rolling on the social media, so that was showing that the autopsy report has completely been changed. So it's not going to give justice if the reports are already changed. So I think Supreme Court will consider this also, and they will also give some comments on this, that yes, CBI has come, but CBI, if all the evidences has been tampered, then what will the CBI do? So that is also a very important matter, and I think that Supreme Court will also take into consideration these things, so that justice could be given to the victim and no other, those barbarians, they have set an example that yes, we can do anything and we can get over. So now the Supreme Court and the judiciary has to set an example that yes, if you do this, then you are going to get this kind of punishment, so that nobody ever dares to do such kind of barbaric acts.
Right, absolutely, ma'am. Thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast, sharing your perspectives with our viewers. Let's again cut across to the hearing that's taking place.
Obviously, there is a lack of faith.
Manoj, your
Do
WhatsApp.
that on that day, Mr.
Only 1 second, Manoj.
Day after tomorrow.
Today, my lord, they can give me today. My joint director is here. I'll give it to her.
Oh, yeah. Allow. Yeah. Just allow. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Now,
What is there to hide from CBI? my lord? If they have given
Nothing is
something related to crimes, it must be given, my lord, to the
Kindly
CBI.
see, kindly see page 40. Kindly,
Don't read it aloud, we'll just.
kindly page 40.
Right. शुरू करें पेट को बोलो काम शुरू करें
इंस्ट्रक्शन से ऐसा कहने का
Yes, yes, I know.
पेट को बोलो काम शुरू करें
Explain this. I'll just say, read.
From the SC hearing that has taken place, we've in fact gotten to know that it took as many as 3 hours for the parents of the victim to see the body of their 31-year-old daughter. They had to wait for as many as 3 hours. There was a delay in the FIR, filing the FIR. It was ultimately, the first FIR was ultimately filed at 11:45 p.m. by the father of the victim. We're also getting to know that the body was handed over for cremation at 8:30 p.m. Now, again, the questions that have been asked repeatedly through the course of this hearing is regarding the principal, who first tendered his resignation, then he was shifted to another college altogether. And again, you know, what was his role? Why was he so quiet? What was he doing through, you know, amidst this tragedy that had taken place inside the vicinity of the hospital? The fact that there was vandalism that was reported, the CGI has also pulled up the West Bengal government over the vandalism that took place. There were as many as 7,000 protesters right outside the vicinity. All right, let's cut across to the hearing.
I asked you 4 times, what is there? Why hide this?
Yes, I give he has case diary, has it, Manoj? Postmortem report is there. I don't know why I'm showing nothing else.
Case diary has been handed over to
Handed
the
over
CBI.
to the CBI.
The entire case diary, inclusive of.
Yeah, inclusive of this.
There.
For the safety of the leader.
She's not a lady.
Are taking place inside the Supreme Court. There's of course the hearing that's taken place. All right, again the National Task Force has been put forth. There are again names that have been mentioned by the Chief Justice of India. I'm going to quickly take you through the names. Surgeon Vice Admiral R.K. Saryan is a part of the National Task Force that has been constituted. Dr. Reddy, Managing Director, Asian Institute of National Gastrology. Dr. M. Shrivas, Director, AIIMS Delhi. Dr. Pratima Murthy, who is the NIMHANS Bangalore. So again, these are the developments that have taken place. The Supreme Court has said that they've announced measures for the safety of the doctors as well. So again, these are the developments that are taking place at this point of time. Again, the most important part over here being that the National Task Force has been set up by the top court. So again, those are the developments that are taking place. Again, those are the developments that are taking place. There have, of course, been questions that have been raised about the West Bengal government, the fact that they were not able to control a mob that vandalized parts of the RG Kar Medical College and Hospital amidst an investigation that was taking place. There were a lot of murky details that came to the forefront, whether it's regarding the principal who attended his resignation, but then he was shifted to another college itself, or the fact that there was reconstruction and renovation work that had kick-started inside the vicinity of the hospital amidst an intense investigation, a thorough investigation that is taking place at this point of time. In fact, the reconstruction work that was going on inside the vicinity was close to the place where the body of the victim was found. This was the body of the victim was in fact found on the 3rd floor of the Medical College and Hospital inside the seminar hall. There are also, of course, details that are emerging as far as the vandalism is concerned. Why exactly is it that the West Bengal police was unable to control the mob that entered the emergency room of the hospital? They broke beds. There was a lot of equipment that was broken as well. So these are, again, the details that have been put on question by the Supreme Court. They've, of course, questioned the lack of any action that was taken by the principal. And again, these are the details that are coming in at this point of time. So again, the Supreme Court hearing has, of course, taken place. A national task force has been constituted by the Supreme Court. Developments taking place at this point of time. Remember, viewers, there was an autopsy report that was, an updated autopsy report that was released yesterday. It stated that the victim had more than 14 injuries across her body. And, again, very shocking details had emerged. The fact that there were charred pieces of glass that were found inside the victim's eyes. Therefore, when she was found, there was blood oozing out of her eyes. Again, those details were very, very shocking, very gruesome by nature. So this is, of course, the autopsy report was released. Now there's a hearing that's taking place. The principal of this college has been questioned for being so, essentially taking no action. Even though there's a body of a 31-year-old trainee doctor that was found, and it was found at 7:30 a.m. Again, the sequence of events after that, again, at 11:45 p.m. is when the first FIR was filed, and it was filed by the father of the victim. We're also learning at this point of time that it was 8:30 p.m. when the body was handed over for cremation. Again, these are the developments that are taking place. The SC has, of course, wrapped the West Bengal government over this entire situation and the way it has been taken care of, in West Bengal. So these are, again, the developments that are taking place. Again, developments taking place at this point of time. A reporter is going to be joining us very shortly to give us more details on this. But for now, again, a Supreme Court hearing has taken place. There are big questions that have been asked by the Supreme Court. Why was there a delay in filing the FIR being number 1? Remember, viewers, it was 11:45 p.m. The body was found at 7:30 a.m. But the first FIR was lodged at 11:45 p.m. by the father of the victim. And in fact, the parents of the victim had to wait for as many as 3 hours to see the body. Question number 2, what was this principal doing and why was he in fact appointed again? Remember, viewers, he had tendered his resignation as, right after this incident was reported. Then he was moved to a completely different college. So again, the CJI, they're questioning why was the ex-principal appointed once again. Question number 3, why is it that the parents were told that this was a case of suicide? Again, the fact that it almost seems like there was there's another story attached to this. The parents of the victim were told that the 31-year-old trainee had committed suicide. That was the first message that was given to the parents. Question number 4 being, why hasn't crime scene been sealed by authorities? As I was telling you viewers, there was vandalism that took place, and more than that, there was again reconstruction work that was taking place inside the vicinity of the hospital and medical college. Refurbishing work that was taking place. So, and this is all happening amidst an investigation by the CBI. So again, these are all the 4 pertinent questions that have been raised. Why no action was taken against the principal immediately? Why were the parents made to wait for hours to see their own child? Those are the questions that are being asked, very pertinent questions being raised amidst a thorough investigation that is being taken place by the CBI. Remember, viewers, a national task force has been appointed by the Supreme Court.
Inquest report. Yes, we have. Give the entire thing to, yes. Please give it to my lord.
The entire. Just get the whole copy. I don't know. Same copy.
3 copies, please.
Just put a flap on that inquest report.
Please, put a flag, please.
If you can share that, I have it, but just if you can share it with me.
Put a flag.
Mr. Sipal neither says yes nor say no, but doesn't give, my lord. That's the stand he has adopted from the
You can
day
continue
one.
to say that. You can continue to say that. You will say, I know
Yes,
you'll
my lord,
repeat
it is a
it.
test
And I
whether
know-
the state wants
Why do you
to
want-
come
Again,
clean
one second,
or
one second, just
still
one
play hide and seek.
Please.
I don't know why my learned friend.
No, you know why I am saying.
I know why you are asking.
Yes.
Yeah, we've seen.
Quest?
Give us soft copy.
You hand over the compilation to us. Hand over the compilation.
Yes,
Compilation and educate.
No, you don't have it on your.
give us.
We're locating the soft copy.
Whatever we have received, we'll file with our report.
What is that? What is that?
Compilation.
List of deeds.
This was the Calcutta petition.
Report, Manoj. Do you have a soft copy? If you can give it. Let's see if you have a soft copy.
Hard copy we have.
Here it is.
This is the inquest report.
This is the inquest report. This is it, Manoj.
All right, again, hearing taking place. In fact, joining us at this point of time is Ms. Neha Azad, the Supreme Court advocate. Ma'am, thank you so much for taking our time and speaking to us on NewsX. Now, again, a national task force has been constituted by the Supreme Court. There are very pertinent questions that the Chief Justice of India raised through the course of this hearing. The fact that there was a delay in filing the FIR, the first one was filed at 11:45 p.m. What was the principal doing amidst this tragedy inside the vicinity of the hospital? The parents were told that this was a suicide incident. That was the first comment that was given to the parents. So how do you view all of these developments?
How can anybody believe that this is a suicide? How will any girl will ruin her eyes, her body parts, her collarbone? But she was devastated so much. How can anybody believe? Why the authorities were saying that she has committed suicide when it is showing it is a brutal rape and plus murder of a girl. Supreme Court has given a huge guidelines. I was watching it. It is still going online. Thursday, 22nd of August is given the time for the next hearing, and 21 is given for the authorities to submit their report, the officials of the hospital to submit their report by 21, and the next date is Thursday. So we are eagerly waiting for that date to come. What will Chief Justice will say about it?
Right, absolutely, ma'am. And again, the fact that what's in fact being spoken about right now is the fact that the parents were put through a lot. It took as many as 3 hours for them to see the body. Then the first FIR took plenty of time, 11:45 p.m. And all the other details that are coming in, especially when as far as the principal is concerned, what exactly was he doing through the course of all of this? He first tendered his resignation, then he was sent to a completely different college. How do you view all of these developments on that front?
Parents are not in their control. They lost their so young girl, talented girl. How will they file an FIR on that time only? FIR, firstly, officials didn't allow to register the FIR. They submitted very lately. The parents were told, they were called upon by some officials from the hospital that the girl has committed a suicide. They were in totally shock. How can such a talented girl commit suicide? After seeing the dead body, the mother is completely in shock. She's saying, my daughter cannot commit suicide. Why? I just wanted to ask why cremations was done so early of that girl. First, the reports were saying that she was raped by several people. Now the report is saying that she's been raped by just one. Now another thing is coming that she's been committed suicide. But it is a whole story coming out. Nobody knows what happened. But if each one of us is in support of that girl, we want justice for that girl. Because this process is continuously going on again and again. After this case incident, we have heard another incident from Dehradun. A 16-year-old girl was raped by several persons. When will it stop? I just wanted to ask this question. When will it stop? Where is girl safe? Neither in home, neither in workplace. Where are we safe? Kya ladki hona is such a crime?
Right, absolutely. Now, as far as this national task force is concerned, ma'am, how do you view the fact that the Supreme Court has now constituted a national task force?
I just cross my fingers and want that national task force to give the authentic report to everybody. See, the Chief Justice has also asked CBI to submit the report. What has happened? Nothing. No progress is given today. After listening the order of the Chief Justice of India, I'm not satisfied. Every girl of India, the whole world, whole nation wants justice for this girl, for us. Today she's targeted. Tomorrow anyone among us can be targeted. So please, National Task Force, I have just a request. It's a request from each and every girl. They should submit the positive report in favor of girl.
Right, ma'am, absolutely. Now, when we just talk about the case and the probe details that are emerging, where, in your assessment, where do you feel that there are very evident lapses?
Yes, there is. It is very clear. What was the first postmortem report was saying? Then, few hours later, another postmortem report came that was saying a different story. First, it was a suicide. Then it was a rape. It was a heinous crime was done by several people. Again, a report came that said that she was raped by a single person. I think nobody is satisfied with the report.
Right, absolutely, ma'am. And as far as the vandalism is concerned, the fact that, and one can allege that there were multiple attempts that were made to sabotage the evidence, how do you then view the West Bengal government's role in all of this?
Government is doing nothing. The victim mother is begging Mamata Banerjee. What is she doing? She's not allowing the co-workers to protest for this girl. They are just asking for justice for this girl. And what is the government doing? She's asking not to protest on the road. Doctors are in fact on the roads everywhere to get justice for this girl. Where are we safe? They just wanted to have a simple question. They are just asking a simple question from the government. Are we safe in a workplace? When she was protesting, the government was protesting for their own cause. Nobody was asking them to get away from the roads. But now when we are protesting for this girl, she is asking to get away from these roads, to get back to our workplaces.
Right, ma'am, absolutely.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.